Hello, so we're going to explain the conversation task in the speaking and listening exam of ISE I. Okay, so the conversation task is the second task after we've done the topic task, and this task is only 2 minutes long, and you'll have to talk about one of the subjects that the examiner introduces. So let's see what topics the examiner might introduce. The examiner can talk about the next topics of the ISE I. The examiner can talk about travel. They might start a conversation about money, fashion, rules and regulations, health and fitness, or learning a foreign language. So, for example, they could ask a question to you. They were going to say, now we're going to move on to the conversation task, and they could ask you, for example, how do people travel in your country? Okay, so from then on, you have to ask and answer questions and keep a conversation going for 2 minutes. Approximately, the examiner will ask you 5 questions on the same topic. And while you're answering the question, you have to make sure that you're using the right language. And what's the right language? So the examiner wants to see that you can use the grammar and the expressions of ISE I. And the grammar and the expressions of ISE I are talking about the past, describing the future, predicting what might happen in the future, so talking about the future but imagining what can happen, and giving reasons for your opinions, your opinions and preferences, so what are the reasons for things that happen, and what do you prefer and what do you not prefer. Okay, and then we've got expressing obligations, what things you have to, you can't, etc., and asking for information and opinions. So about asking for information and opinions, the examiner is going to ask you several questions, but you also have to ask at least some questions, at least one question to the examiner. So it's very important to know how to ask, not only give your opinion, but also ask the opinion of the examiner, because then it seems more like a real conversation. So when the examiner starts, you listen carefully to see what you have to answer to. If you don't understand the question, don't worry, because you can ask the examiner to repeat once, okay? So you know what the topics are, and it's always a good idea to practice these topics. So learn vocabulary, talk about them, think of questions you can ask about them, etc. And that's it about the conversation task. Next will be learning how to do the independent listening task. Bye-bye.